to look at the issue, concerning the defamation suits. Of course, this has raised a lot of dust. The social media has been agog throughout the week. The tweet, in fact, all the various media, spaces, print, social media, everywhere has been agog. The judiciary is almost as if the judiciary is on trial again. It is all eyes on the judiciary once more. Where we have seen that the prominent human rights activist, who recently published a book. In fact, the book has even gone viral. The book has been listed as the #1 selling book in Amazon just recently. To show you the public interest in what is happening, surrounding this. And these have also called our laws on defamation in question vis-a-vis the constitutional provision for freedom of speech, and also the conduct of our security forces. Because some have alleged that it was whisked away, we didn't follow due process, all of that. So let us our viewers want to lean from your own understanding and opinion of the issues in question.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, we all have heard that Dele Farotimi was arrested and arraigned in a magistrate court in Ekiti State for criminal defamation at the instance of Are Alfred Babalola, a legendary legal luminary who has left his footprints in so many areas, not just within the country, but even outside the country. Now, that matter has generated a lot of controversy. On one side are those who are saying that why criminal defamation? Why not civil suit for defamation on the law of tort, which of course will be based on the balance of probabilities. And in that case, what the claimants will be asking the court to do is to award damages to compensate for his loss of reputation or damage to his reputation, that what was said was published and that thing has actually damaged his reputation, and then the defendant will now have the obligation to raise one of the defenses applicable, which one is the defense of truth or justification that what was said was actually true, or fake comment and others. But then on the other side is this group saying that yes, that civil action for defamation in civil cases will be libel or slander, but in this case, because it's in a written form, libel is the appropriate thing. Now, those will say that yes, that civil action may not be appropriate because where you have a civil action is where the damaging comment or publication is between two individuals. It's like between two private individuals. It does not affect the public, so to say. But where the publication is such that affects the society, the public, and the effect is not just on an individual or group of persons, but it has the effect of affecting the society at large, that is a public interest matter and criminal defamation is appropriate. Now, because the matter is already in the court, we may not have to look at the chances or otherwise of the matter. But what we look at is, first, the defendant was arraigned in the magistrate court on a matter that appears ordinary to be bailable. Why was he not granted bail by the magistrate? It is clear that in our criminal jurisprudence, application for bail could be made in writing or orally. And we all know that magistrate court is a court of summary jurisdiction. And being a court of summary jurisdiction, where application is made for bail orally, the magistrate ought to have considered it. Of course, we also know that bail is discretionary. But once an application is made, the law is that the court has a duty to consider every application and take a decision one way or the other. And we also know that where a charge before a court is not a capital offense charge, is an offense that does not carry death penalty, that's a capital offense, and is ordinarily bailable, there is need for bail to be considered and possibly granted, and that is hinged on the presumption of innocence as encapsulated in section 35 of the 1999 Constitution, which said that whosoever is arrested or alleged to have committed a crime is presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. And we all know that the essence of bail is not to punish the defendant, but simply to ensure that he comes to take his trial. The magistrate may not have the opportunity to respond to what we are saying, but we are looking at the issues generally. That yes, where a particular person is alleged to have committed a crime and there is application for bail made orally, they ought to have been granted. And then we also go beyond this and look at the defendant is a legal practitioner, and being a legal practitioner, ordinarily, all that ought to weigh in the mind of the court that this is someone who ordinarily is not expected to fizzle into thin air or disappear and fail to take his trial. On the other side of the scale is also the person that has allegedly been defamed, and also looking at the nature of the alleged defamation, the issue of the Chief Ade Afe Babalola using corrupt means through corruption to have procured judgment from the Supreme Court in favor of his client. These are worthy, very worthy allegations. Very worthy allegations. Because if you look at it, the buck does not just stop at the doorsteps of the learned senior advocate who is a renowned lawyer, a philanthropist, educationist, and so on. But it also goes on to point satellite on the Supreme Court.
All right, but Mike Mona, let us also get your opinion on updates. Right, some of you may have perhaps gone through a lot of gone through around the issue, but let us get your own opinion concerning this matter.
Yes, it's an unfortunate situation that we are finding ourselves today because of this particular case. I know that Dele Farotimi is a very senior lawyer, and the aspect of defaming another very senior lawyer is what is on the front burner now. Afe Babalola is, I think, 94 years old.
95.
Or 95 years old now.
About 95 years now.
Very well. And then somebody who has been in the legal profession for over 60 years or thereabouts. You understand? To be defamed is a serious allegation that the person that is being defamed ought to know the right thing to do by reason of his number of years at the bar. Is an enigma. In fact, is somebody that so many people respect in the legal profession. That is one. The second one is that Dele Farotimi, being a lawyer, knows what is expected of him if he is making false allegation. But he says that what he is saying is true, and he can prove it. And so once these issues are brought together, as my colleague has said, defamation is a civil matter that can be faced in the civil litigation for the purpose of getting damages to compensate for the damaged, in quotes, reputation. Now, defamation is not a criminal offense in so many states. including the Lagos, where Dele Farotimi is living and was or must have committed the so-called defamation. He stays in Lagos, and if what he wrote in Lagos and circulated it in Lagos, and even the channel's television interview was done here in Lagos. If all these things happened in Lagos, why do you have to search to go to Ekiti State, where there is criminal defamation in part of their law, not even in all their laws? Now, I mean, in part of the laws they encapsulate into the state. If you look at the law that Dele Farotimi was charged under, it is called Criminal Code Act. It's not a state law. It's a federal law, an act of the National Assembly, and there is no state attorney general that has power to prosecute any national, any act that is was promulgated by the National Assembly. We have diverse, several authorities from the Supreme Court to that effect. It is only the federal attorney general that has that jurisdiction, that has the power to prosecute in those laws. And so if you now charge somebody in the magistrate courts, not even in the high courts of a particular state, when you took somebody from Lagos State to Ekiti State just for the purpose of looking for where there is a criminal element in their law to charge the person, and then you charge the person under the federal law, it is very unfortunate that these people just did it for the purpose of detaining Dele Farotimi. That is my understanding of that. That is what too. I discovered that they also filed another charge in the Federal High Court, probably because they discovered that this is a federal law, and that the state attorney general has no power to prosecute. And so they rushed to the Federal High Court in Ekiti State on Friday, the 6th of December. They filed the other one on the 4th of December.
Yeah, but this second one is for the Cyber Act prohibition listing.
All those things are in the same publication. The same publication. And then they still brought in the same criminal defamation from there. So my thinking is that, having discovered that there are so many angles to this case, they decided to go to the Federal High Court, and probably they are going to withdraw this one from the Magistrate Court to bring him in line with the one in the Federal High Court.
But he's still being held.
Now, yes. What I have not seen from the readings I have made is whether Dele Farotimi actually took plea. Did he plead not guilty?
Yes, he pleaded
to
not
those
guilty.
charges.
Yes.
If he did,
and he also made the application to his lawyer.
yes, it's a court of summary jurisdiction. There is no doubt about that.
Yes.
The magistrate court, the moment he pleaded not guilty to those charges, the magistrate court is supposed to grant him bail orally.
He is a lawyer.
He made the application.
He has to be written application.
That is not necessary. You see, there are some offenses. This particular offense that we are talking about carries a sentence of 2 years imprisonment.
It's a minor.
So it's not something that you have to ask for a written application for bail. I think what weighs in the mind of the magistrate is probably because of the kind of the personalities.
Is that not the corrupting influence that he was talking about?
That is what we are saying now. That what is now playing out in the magistrate court in Ekiti State is going to buffer the allegation made by Dele Farotimi that the judiciary is corrupt, and that is too bad in the eyes of the international community, because what we are seeing in the international community now is that everybody is interested in what's going on in this particular matter. For Dele Farotimi's book to become number one, selling in as number one in Amazon, you should know that the entire world is focusing on what is going on, and anybody that's handling that case should be careful, because the eyes of the world are on the person, both the prosecutor, the magistrate, or the judge that is handling the matter. And you see, the funny thing is that these are the people that were alleged to be corrupt. And when you are dragging somebody whom you allege to be corrupt to the person you said is corrupt, I don't know what we expect as the outcome. We who are lawyers have already stood here to see what is going to play out from the beginning of what is happening now in the magistrate court. We have already projected what is going to play out. I think at the end of the day, what we expect is probably an out of court settlement of this matter, because I believe that I read what the NBA president was saying about I think the elders of the bar and the bench anyway will sit down together and discuss on how to get these things resolved. It is not necessary to punish somebody simply because he made allegations that everybody knows, but is not willing to come out to say it. It's very unfortunate. Apart from actually mentioning the names of people like he did in the book, you understand, we all witness what is going on in the judiciary, but we don't want to say that the judiciary is corrupt based on this and that, because we really need to have facts to be able to support what you say. And I want to believe that before he publishes, because publication is something that you have to be sure of what you are talking about. The fact must be there. He must have gotten the evidence before he published it to the hearing of the entire world. Because even me, when I heard him on Channels television making those allegations, I was saying, God, does this man actually have the evidence to back up this allegation? Because if he does not, it might turn out to be his albatross. I want to believe that the judiciary, even the executive, which is prosecuting him anyway, because it's the executive that is prosecuting him, the judiciary, the executive, and even the legislature that is making the law, will be interested in what is going on in this particular matter. All right. And then weigh in to ensure that we don't go out there and watch our dirty lady in the public.
All right, but so many people, we have discussed the issue of the judiciary so many times here. The low confidence, that the people have of the judiciary. Now they are coming on the burner again. All eyes on the judiciary.
Yes.
Because one of a prominent, of course, is a lawyer too of over many years. They have alleged of the judiciary that some members of the bar have corrupting influence on the judiciary. And he even went ahead to give an example of cases whereby the judiciary went ahead to go and amend the judgment surreptitiously, that they already, of course, is a land matter. He cited, in fact, the book was where he made his allegation based on a contest. It wasn't a sweeping, made allegation based on cases that you can read on the law report and true life situations. What do you think that will be the perception of the public, given what is happening within the judiciary? Because he didn't only accuse these individuals, he accused, in fact, he said he was talking about institutional corruption. Because if the institution were not corrupt, these people would not even have the temerity in the first place, to do what he alleged that they are doing. So what do you think would be the perception of the people, and what do you think is the way out, of this quagmire that the judiciary have found itself again?
Yes, I think this matter is a serious matter. It's a very serious matter. And what do I say? Personally, I don't endorse the comment that all the judges are corrupt. If you say judiciary is corrupt, you are saying all the judges are corrupt. But it's not all the judges are corrupt. There are some very honest judges that are there dispensing justice. Upright judges, incorruptible judges. We have many them in this country.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't endorse anyone coming out to damage completely the Nigerian judiciary and give an impression that to have there is a marketplace where you pay for judgment and you go with one. I wouldn't want to endorse such a comment. Again, Dele Farotimi has claimed that he has evidence to prove his allegations. And if that is correct, the world is waiting to see the evidence improve of the damaging, very damaging allegations. I had cause to have gone through some of the pages of that book. And there are other individuals whose names are mentioned in that book.
Very many.
Prominent individuals in the legal profession who were alleged to have done corrupt things and so on. If he has proofs of the allegations, then of course the Constitution has given freedom of speech as a fundamental right. But that freedom is circumscribed by the law of defamation. In the freedom, exercising your freedom of speech, you don't destroy another person. And this one is a serious matter because, as I said earlier, it has to do with our judicial institution. Then, how the whole quagmire may end is only speculation, because only God that knows what will play out at the end of the day. But then, you discover that Chief Alpha Babalola, who is the victim, who is alleged to have been defamed, from what we've gathered so far, that in the United Kingdom, there is an institution where he made a donation of about 10 million
pounds.
10 million pounds. And they're already contemplating to return the money and remove his name from the list of philanthropic donors to that institution.
There was a building that was actually named after him.
Yes.
So they want to change that.
To change the name and so on. And that shows that the effects.
Yeah, it's global.
Yes, it's a global one. And if after such, alleged defamation and the consequences of such, I do not see him rushing to the table to say, yes, I settle, I withdraw, and so on.
Yeah, but so beyond settlement,
yeah, so
I'm sure that many Nigerians are not. They are not saying that Chief Babalola should just let the matter go. What many are actually concerned is the fairness, of the judicial process that is going to try him.
Yes.
Because he has alleged that there are corrupted influences in some of these judges up to the highest level.
Yes.
And now we could see so many people are worried that the process leading to his arrest, the process in the magistrate court, is pointing towards a system that might not deliver a fair trial to this individual, which was the same thing he complained in his book. So most Nigerians are worried. They are not concerned if he faces the consequence of his action, but they are concerned if he's going to get a fair trial. So it's so much so that even at the end of the day, if he gets to be convicted on some of this alleged, most Nigerians might not even believe that it was on the merit of the case, that it was the influence of the individuals that are involved. So the integrity of the judiciary is in question, and they seem not to have done anything to despair that, given the way the case has gone so far. Even now that the trial have not started, he was not granted bail, which you have said that ordinarily he ought to have been granted bail.
Yes.
He was not invited by the police. We saw the video on how they came and took him away like a common criminal, where they could have given him a simple invitation. He's a respected lawyer. He wasn't going to vanish. So the way the thing has, does it restore confidence on the judiciary and the security apparatus in the country?
Already, the way he was arrested and arraigned in a court in a state, which is outside the territorial jurisdiction of where the alleged offense was committed has already raised serious concerns among Nigerians and the international community. The reason is this: somebody said that he had not been getting justice in cases he had handled or been involved one way or the other. And then he was arrested and taken to court. And the fact that for a billable offense he was not granted bail is a pointer that he may not have fair trial. I'm not saying that he's not going to have fair trial, but it raises concerns, and that is a reason for whoever is going to be involved in the matter, as a judge or prosecuting counsel, defense counsel, to be sure that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to have been done, because it's a matter that has attracted global attention. Like we were first saying that I agreed, the book is selling so fast. The price has gone so high now. The price of that book. Everybody wants to know what are those things that are defamatory in the book, and are there evidences, as he has claimed he has proof of what he has said. So, like we said, I agree that the judiciary needs to be careful so that people don't have wrong perception. If the magistrate had exercised her discretion and granted him bail, considering two things, because in grant of bail, you look at the nature of the charge or the offense, the evidence available, and the likelihood of the defendant committing another crime while on bail, or interfering with prosecution witnesses, and all that. Now, looking at the nature of the alleged offense, a bailable offense, and looking at also the fact that the defendant is a legal practitioner, I believe the magistrate ought to have exercised her discretion and granted him bail. Of course, that's not the end of the matter. If not for self-recognition, but ask that short they stand for him and let him go. Any day, anytime it's needed, he will appear. So to have refused even to consider bail, I don't think that is very appropriate in the circumstances. I recall some years ago, many years ago in Lagos here, there was a matter handled, a matter that ordinarily is bailable. The clients, about 4 of them, were arraigned in magistrate court in Lagos, and the magistrate, after they have taken their plea and applied for bail orally, which is done in the magistrate court, the magistrate refused to consider bail and adjourned, for about 2 weeks to consider bail. And I felt that was not proper. And then I took necessary steps, and the CJ ordered the magistrate to grant them the bail because of ordinary bailable offense, and explain why the bail was not considered, because you have a duty as a magistrate to consider bail in a bailable offense. So now, even in the High Court, the case law is that you can even make oral application for bail depending on the nature of the charge or information before the High Court, let alone a magistrate court. So it's a matter that requires that, to save the image of the Nigerian judiciary, yes, that whosoever is involved as a magistrate or as a judge in the determination of the case must be very careful to see that proper things are done.
Yes.
Don't, because we all know that the lady that symbolizes justice is blindfolded. She doesn't see anybody, whether you are rich or poor, you are big or small, it doesn't see. All that is bothered about is what is the scale of justice. Yes. And Nigerians want justice and fairness to prevail in this matter, without necessarily looking at who is involved and who is not involved. In as much as we cannot delve into the merits or otherwise of the case, because it's a matter that is still go on to trial if it need be, but then for now, let everything be done properly, so that the international community will not look at Nigeria and conclude that our judicial system is a corrupt system, that nobody will ever hope to get justice in this country, because people still get justice.
You see, my client told me one time when we were talking about this symbol of justice, he said, you have the scale. And he said that in Nigerian judicial system, what happens is that what you need to is to bring money and put in one side of the scale, and it will go down, and the other person will just go to prison. So that is on the lighter note. You see, as I said earlier, the judiciary needs to be very careful in this situation, because there is a very damaging, injurious allegation against the judiciary. And so if you want the entire world not to believe what Dele Farotimi has said, it is important for the judiciary to do the needful, to do the right thing, to be transparent, so that they will know that indeed you can really get justice in this dispensation. And that I want to say, that it is important for everyone that is sitting, as I said earlier, it's important for everybody that is sitting in judgment in this case, it's everybody that is prosecuting, and even the defense counsel, to be very careful, to be very diligent in what they are doing in this matter, to ensure that we are not sinking deeper and deeper into a situation that the man had actually made the allegation, and then the whole world will say, yes, we knew it. There are so many instances that we don't want to bring to the table now that would make the world to say we had known that this is how Nigeria is. If you can even remember the one that Bukachua, the former senator, made in the Senate, parting words that he was influencing, was in how did he put it, going into the area of his wife, being the judge, to ensure that he gained favor, who was the president of the Court of Appeal, to gain favor for his colleagues, and his colleagues actually benefited from. You can imagine that kind of thing in the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly to the entire world. That means that you are saying that there is corruption. Yes. There is corruption, because what we are talking, the moment you influence the outcome of the decision of the court, that means that you have corrupted the system, and that the person both the person that has influenced and the person that is influenced, both of them are corrupt, and they are guilty for corruption. I think we have to be very, very careful. This is the time I keep saying this, because this is a very dicey case that if care is not taken, it allow Dele Farotimi to come out with evidence, it will be more damaging than what we are thinking now. That is why I said that it is important for the elders of the bar.
You say that the matter should be closed now.
That's why I'm saying that it is important for the leaders of the bar, the leaders of the bench, the National Assembly to come together and think. This is a very dicey situation, and think of how to bring this matter to an end, so that we don't go into the.
Is it not better they unbundle the issues?
No. There are some things that are better left unbundled, so that we don't find ourselves in a very terrible situation. We don't know. You say, we don't know what the assets that this man has in stock.
Cupboard of someone or some people.
I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that the person who made the allegation, this person who made the allegation is a very senior lawyer, and we know that even in our law school, when we were taught in the law of defamation, there is no way you would bring out allegation without having solid evidence and expect to go free. We just finished one case in the High Court that there was a defamation case, and the judge gave judgments our claims, which is a publishing house anyway, and granted about 10 million naira. The first and second defendants were the main people who made the allegation, and then the judge granted 50 million naira against them. That is ordinary citizen. When you are talking of somebody that is a legal luminary of so many years of international repute, you expect the judges, the justices that will sit over this case, if it is not proved, to bring the amount of money that even if they sell you, I don't mean Farotimi, and do a lot of things, you will not be able to pay. So it is important to look at all the sides to this coin, and see how this matter can come to an end, how to exit the heat that is, I don't think we should also rely on the social media.
Yeah, Nigerians are eager for the matter to
let the people that matter come together and see how this thing can be brought to an end.
Okay, that will be your suggestion.
Yes,
all of this.
well.
So, by Sophia, what will be your suggestion? Because we are almost out of time. You spent a lot of time on this.
Now, on the matter, my own take on it is that whatever is to be done within the due process and parameters of law, so that at the end of the day, since the satellite parliamentary committee is on Nigeria judiciary, and in this case in particular, everything must be done properly, so that we don't give an impression that somebody wants to compromise justice, somebody wants to get justice in tatters. We don't want that, or to give an impression that the pure streams of justice is being polluted by anybody. Now, there are 3 persons on trial. One is Dele, Farotimi, who has made very weighty allegations. Then, the person or persons against whom sanctions are made is equally on trial. And of course, the judiciary. And then, of course, we cannot run away from instinctive biases that are there. If somebody has made allegations of corruption against the judiciary, and the same judiciary is going to decide, adjudicate on the person, the allegations he has made and so on, then if those involved do not detach themselves emotionally from the adjudication process, there may be problems. So there must be a detachment by those who will be involved in the actual adjudication of the cases. And my good brother friend here said, if the matter could be resolved, it is fine. But then it must be done in a way that we don't give false impression to the world that Nigeria is a country where anything goes as far as judiciary is concerned, and that you take steps to, compromise and cover an alleged corruption and all that. Is something that is very, technical. It's something that requires very careful handling. If you say, okay, let's shut up, let the man shut up, the impression that will be created out there is that actually, if the Barr could come out with his barrage of evidence, that everything will collapse.
But is it better for him to come out with a barrage of evidence and collapse everything?
Is it not better it collapses? Is it not better it collapses and we start rebuilding if the foundation is not okay? Because the judiciary has always been at the center of all of that.
Very, very dicey. And
all right, so